I joined in, fanning the smoke, shaking her comment about the gun looking back all crazy. But he didn't care, but he ain't cared, just leaned back and took another pull on the cig, burning but not burning down, still long, fire of smoke but no ash. She brushed her hair hand against mine, to get my attention, which on any other occasion would have been the perfect open for me to flirt or at least try to do my best impression of Sean, which was his best impression of Buck. But there was a ghost in the elevator, so no go. Plus, it's hard to think about kissing and killing at the same time. She asked what you need it for anyway, and when I looked confused, I pretended to look confused. She took time to tease and clarified. The gun. The next exchange was a simple one. I don't mean to harm, but that ain't something you just ask someone you don't even know. I said, still trying to play cool. The girl nodded, replied, "You're right, so right." But then she got her hand on my shoulder, her perfume floating from her wrist to just under my nostrils, said, "But I do know you well. I won't front." I was a little excited. I know I just sat flirting on an elevator with a ghost on it was a no-go, but we wouldn't be on this elevator forever. And Sean always said, if a girl says she knows you, but you ain't never met her, then she's been watching you, clocking you, checking you. But Buck probably taught me that. I hoped it was true. From where is what I came with next, loading up my flirts. Where you know me from? The girl smiled with her eyes. From the playground, she said. Monkey bars. Very funny, I said, picking up on her trying to play me. I ain't no monkey, I never said you were, she replied. I'm being serious. Well, then you got the wrong guy because I'm too old to be hanging at playgrounds. Yeah, but I knew you when you weren't. She opened her purse, dug around, pulled out a wallet, unfolded it, turned it toward me to flash a photo like white people in movies when they want to show off their kids. But I wasn't trying to see no kids, but there they were. There we were. Me and my friend Danny are as kids, 8 years old. No knee jeans and hand-me-down t-shirt from Sean. Flower dress, shorts underneath for Danny, who hung from a monkey bar, tongue hanging from her mouth like pink candy, the sun shining in my eyes, the sunshine in hers. You remember this? The girl asked, folding, snapping the wallet shut. Of course, I said, wondering how she knew Danny. It was one of the best and worst days of my life. You remember on this day. She paused, cockling, cocking her head to the side, hands on hips, butterflied arms, and continued. I kissed you? My eyes got big. Danny? This was Danny. Danny standing in front of me, the flower dress the same. Her face 8 years older than 8 years old, but still the same. Yeah, I remember that. I remember this. And then I got hung up. And then gunshots. She said gunshots like firecrackers coming from everywhere. Danny said her body burned and all she wanted to do was jump outside of herself, swing to somewhere else like we pretended to do on Monkey Park. And now I want to throw up. But hate faded. He, the cigarette dangling, bouncing with each oar like a fishing pole with fish on bait, with hook through head. I told Danny, but I remember Sean screaming for us to get down, how he laid on top of us, covering us, smashing us into the dirt. I told her how I remember staring at her the whole time, her eyes wide, the brightness dimming, her mouth open, bubble gum and blood. I swear sometimes it feels like God be flashing photos of his children, awkward, amazing, tucked in his wallet for the world to see, but the world don't want to see no kids. And God ain't no pushy parent, so he just folds and snaps us shut. When they said you were gone, I cried all night, I confessed, and the next morning over hard-boiled eggs and sugar cereal. Sean taught me rule number one, no crying. The way I felt when Danny was killed was a first. Never felt nothing like it. I stood in the shower the next morning after Sean taught me the first rule, no crying, feeling like I wanted to scratch my skin off, scratch my eyes out, punch through something, a wall, a face, anything, so something else could have a hole. Anagram number two, feel, flee. "It's cool to see you, Danny," I said, feeling funny but meaning every word. She grew up gorgeous, at least she would have. "Good to see you too, Will." She grinned. "But you still haven't answered my question. What you need a gun for?" My face tightened, hardened. "They killed Sean last night. Who killed Sean?" "Shouldn't you already know? Just tell me who killed him, Will." "The Dark Sons, you remember. Riggs used to live around here. Think it was him. Had to be. Had to be." Danny was killed before she ever learned the rules, so I explained them to her so she wouldn't think less of me for following them, like I was just another black boy on one looking to off one, so that she knew I had purpose, and that this was about family, and had I known the rules when we were kids, I would have done the same thing for her. Then Danny asked, "What if you miss?" "But I won't," I said. "But what if you do?" she asked. "I won't," I said. But how you know?" she asked. "I just know," I said. "But you never even shot a gun?" she asked. "Don't matter," I said. "Don't matter." Danny was disappointed, slapped her hands to her face, tried to wipe away worry. but she couldn't, and I couldn't expect her to. I looked back at Buck for a bailout, some help, something, but he said nothing. Just slid the cigarettes from his pocket and extended it to Danny. Buck offered. Smoke, I guess this was his way of diffusing the situation. Thank you, Danny said, wiggling one from the box. You smoke, I asked. You shoot? She shot back, slipping it between shining lips, leaning forward for the light. Buck struck a match, and again the elevator came to a stop. The elevator was smoke box, gray and thick. Buck and Danny puffed and blew everlasting cigs. Thought when the doors opened the smoke would rush out, but instead it became a still cloud trapped in a steel cube. Cigarette smoke ain't supposed to be. No wool blanket ain't supposed to be. No blizzard. No snowy TV. Smoke like spirit can be thick, but ain't supposed to be nothing solid enough to hold me. I fanned and coughed, expecting whoever was waiting to wait for the next one. Who wants to get on an elevator full of smoke? What if it wasn't really full of smoke? Still, who wants to get on an elevator with a kid bugging, swatting and choking on the invisible thick? They'd probably think what you probably think right now. I took a step back to make room for the silhouette to move through fog. Just step in. Danny and Buck stood behind me, close enough to feel, but I held no breath. But I felt no breath. Two large hands, the largest I'd ever seen, rushed through the cloud, hard and fast, snatched fistfuls of my shirt, yoking me by the neck, holding me there until the elevator door closed. Barely breathed already and could breathe less, and could see nothing behind this blanket of gray. Then in one swift motion, the hands released me and slapped me into a headlock, the kind that Sean used to put me in, the kind that all little brothers hate. I could hear laughing, like being held under water by playful waves, crashing down on my head, laughing me under. How do you tell water ain't nothing funny about drowning? When I was finally let up, I looked for Buck, for Danny, for help. They moved to the corner, chuckling, blurry, puffing away. What the hell? I yelped. One hand on my neck, one hand on my untucked tail. What you reaching for? And why you reaching for it? The asshole who tried to mash the apple in my neck into sauce taunted. Nephew, nephew, he chanted. After all this time, you ain't learned to fight back yet. There were so many pictures of Uncle Mark in our house, hanging on the wall, laughing, hanging up the block, posing with my father, his shorter younger brother, dressed laid sharp, suits, jewelry, cigarette tucked behind ear, camel ready, firelight shone, foreshadowing the flash. Uncle Mark, I let my hand fall to my side, swallowed hard. Am I going insane? Come here, kid, Uncle Mark said. Let me look at you. I stepped closer. Taller than me, taller than everyone. 6'4", 6'5", 6 feet deep. Rested his hands on my shoulders, the weight of him bending me at the knees. Look like your damn daddy, he said, just like him. My mother told me 2 stories about Uncle Mark. Number one, he videotaped everything with a camera my grandmother, bought him for his 18th birthday. Dance battles, gang fights, block parties. But he dreamed of making a movie. Script idea, boy, Mikey, no game, no girls, meets girl, Jessie, young girlfriend of boy, Mikey is landlord, girl, just teaches boy, Mikey everything he needs to know about girl, how to impress them, how to treat them. But boy, Mikey uses what he learns to get girl, Jessie to fall in love with him, but her boyfriend boy, Mikey's landlord, finds out and kicks him and girl, Jessie, out of the building. So they're in love, but they're homeless, but they're happy, right? Casting of the worst, stupidest movie ever. Boy Mikey to be played by Uncle Mark's little brother, my father Mikey. Girl Jessie to be played by the younger sister of a girl Uncle Mark used to date, Sherry, my mother. Uncle Mark pulled me in for a hug, but how you hug, what's haunting you? And you know, it's weird to know a person you don't know, and at the same time not know a person you know? Why are you here? I asked Uncle Mark, taking my time, looking him up and down. Sadness split his face like cold breeze, unchapped lip after attempting to smile. I guess he expected me to be excited to see him, and I was, sorta, but still. With his hand he brushed down the front of his shirt, smoothing out wrinkles, straightening himself out. Hand stopped just at the top of his dress shoes tied in perfect bows, leather shiny, uncreased like he ain't been walking. Brushed and brushed down his chest to stomach, down his thighs. Brushed and brushed down his chest to stomach, down his thighs. And squatting, dipped a finger in his mouth and scrubbed the toe of his shoe. A smudge not there. A better question, he said, eyes up at me, is why are you here? Random thought number two. Always, always, always. Be skeptical of a person who answers a question by asking a question. Usually. It's a setup. Anagram number three. Cruel. Loco. What you mean? I asked, trying to avoid having to talk about the coldness in my heart and the heater in my waist. What do you mean? He stood up. What did I mean? He repeated, putting hands together, fingertips touching, cracking what sounded like all the knuckles in the world. Listen, kid, don't play me and don't play with me. It's best you turn it loose before I tighten you up. Okay, okay, I begged, trying to hold him off, trying to avoid being knotted up again. Look, they killed Sean last night, Uncle Mark, and today you woke up ready to make things right, right? I nodded. And the reason why is because for the first time in your life you realize, or at least you think you could, kill someone, right? I nodded, right? He said, louder, right? But to explain myself, I said, the rules are the rules. Uncle Mark huffed, closed his eyes. I wonder if he was thinking about the rules. He knew them like I knew them. Passed to him, passed them to his little brother, passed to my older brother, passed to me. The rules have always ruled, past, present, future, forever. Uncle Mark squeezed his lips like he was trying to rip them off, then opened his eyes. Okay, Will, he said, all serious. Let's set the scene. What you mean, set the scene? I mean, let's play it out how this whole thing is go down. Play it out like a movie. Uncle Mark explained. We'll go back and forth. I'll start from the top. The scene Will stands over dead brother Sean. 2 holes in his chest, a little over the ground. Will takes his mother inside. She cries. He looks for his brother's gun. Will finds the gun, lies down and thinks about the rules. No crying, no snitching, and always get revenge. The next day he decides to find who he knows killed his brother, a guy named Riggs. Will gets in the elevator, goes down to the lobby, walks outside, puts his brother's blood on the concrete, continues for 9 blocks, gets to Riggs' house, sees Riggs, pulls the gun out, and I got stuck. Couldn't say nothing else, couldn't say it. Hoped Uncle Mark would say, cut. But he didn't. The scene continued. Go ahead, finish it. Up until that point, things were running smoothly, but the stupid last part got me caught up. Finish it, Uncle Mark demanded. Danny whimpered. Buck raised. Okay, okay, I said, trying to calm Uncle Mark down. We'll put the gun out and I stalled. And my mouth dried out. Words phlegm trapped in my throat like an allergic reaction to the thought of it all. The scene completed. And shoots. Buck finished it for me, said it slowly, dragging out the shh. Then I could finally painfully back it up. And shoots. For the record, this movie would have been better than the stupid one he was trying to make when he was alive, that's for sure. Maybe not as happy, but definitely better. Story number 2 about Uncle Mark. Uncle Mark lost his camera. His mother got him, the one he reported dance battles and gang fights and block parties in the beginning of his corny ass movie on. Couldn't afford another one. Options. Could have asked Grandma again, but that wouldn't have been pointless. Could have stolen one, but he wasn't about to be sweating, so he wasn't about to be running. Could have gotten a job, but working was another one of those things Uncle Mark just wasn't about to be doing. So he did what a lot of people do around here. His plan to sell for one day, Uncle Mark took a corner pockets full of rocks to become Roll's future finance. And in an hour had enough money to buy a new camera, but decided to stick at it just through the end of the day. That's all, just through the end of the day. I'm sure you know where this is going. He held that corner for a day, for a week, for a month. Full out pusher, money making, pretty boy, target for a ruthless young hustler whose name Mom can never remember. The guy took the corner from Uncle Mark, snatched it right from under him, and it wasn't peaceful. Everybody ran, ducked head, tucked themselves tight, blew their own eardrums, gouged their own eyes, did what they'd all been trained to, pretending like yellow tape was some kind of neighborhood flag, and don't nobody wave but always be flapping in the wind. Uncle Mark should have just bought his camera and shot his stupid movie after the first day. Unfortunately, he never shot nothing ever again, but my father did. Anagram number 4. Cinema Iceman. Random thought number 3. Not sure what an Iceman is, but it makes me think of bad dudes. Cold-blooded. So anyway, after I said it in shoots, it was like the words came out and at the same time went down into me and chewed on everything inside as if I had somehow swallowed my own teeth, and they were sharper than I'd ever known. Meanwhile, Uncle Mark reached into his shirt pocket, pulled out 2 cigarettes. Great, more smoke. I hope the second one wasn't for me. I don't smoke. Shit is gross. Less people who living who real like me isn't allowed to smoke in elevators. And what happened next in this movie, Uncle Mark asked, tucking one cig behind his ear, booger rolling the other between his fingers. Nothing, that's it, the end. I shrugged. He positioned the cig in the corner of his mouth, patted his pockets for fire. The end, he murmured, looking at Buck, motioning for a light. It's never the end, Uncle Mark said. I'll chuckle. Chuckle. He leaned toward Buck. Never. Buck struck a match, and the elevator came to a stop again. This time there was no smoke blocking the door. Even though there were 3 people, I guess people in the elevator were smoking. I know it don't make sense, but stay with me. And there he was, clear as day, as the door slid open. Recognized him instantly. Been waiting for him since I was 3. Mikey Holloman, my father. My pop stepped in the elevator, stood right in front of me, stared as if looking at his own reflection, as if he'd stepped into a time machine. Moments later, spread his arms, welcomed me into a lifetime's worth of squeeze. Is it possible for a hug to peel back skin of time, the toughen and raw bits, irritating dry spots, the parts that bleed? Pop pulled away, noticed his brother gave Uncle Mark a firm handshake, yanked him in for a half hug, just like on all the pictures. No sound in the elevator except hands popping together and the muted thud of pats on backs. I have no memories of my father. Sean always tried to get me to remember things like Pop dressing up as Michael Jackson for Halloween, and after trick or treating, riding us up and down in the elevator, doing his best moonwalk, but not enough space to go nowhere, slamming into walls. Sean swore I laughed so hard I farted, stunk up the whole elevator, even peed myself. I was only 3, and I don't remember that. I've always wanted to, but I don't. I so don't. A broken heart killed my dad. That's what my mother always said. And as a kid, I always figured his heart was for real broken, like an arm or a toy, or the middle drawer. But that's not what Sean said. Sean always said our dad was killed for killing the man who killed our uncle. Said he was at a pay phone, probably talking to mom, when a guy walked up on him, put pistol to head, asked him if he knew a guy who went by G. Don't know what Pop said, but that at the end of, but that was the end of that story. I always used to ask Sean how he knew that, especially the whole G thing. He said Buck had told him, said that was Buck's corner. It was then that Buck started looking out for Sean, who at the time was only 7. Buck was 16, but I don't remember none of this either. Hi, Will. My father's voice brand new to me. Deep, some scratch on the tail of each word, how I figured Sean's would have sounded someday. How you been? We were talking to my dad like he was a stranger, even though we hugged like family. Alright, I guess. I said, I, I guess. I said, unsure of what else to say. How do you small talk your father when dad is a language so foreign that whenever you try to say it, it feels like you got a third lip and a second tongue? I wanted to unload, just tell him about Sean and how mom cried and drank and scratched herself to sleep, how I was feeling, the rules, all that. Wanted to tell him everything in that stuffy elevator, but held back because Buck, Danny, and Uncle Mark were watching with warm, weird faces. I already know, Pop said, taking a deep breath. I know, I know, I know. Sadness and love in his voice, I replied, choking down me, choking up. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what to do. I wiped my face with the back of my hand, knuckles rolling over his eyes, to catch water before it came down. No crying, not in front of Pop, not in front of Danny, not in front of none of these people, not in front of no one, never. What do you think you should do? He asked. Follow the rules, I said, just like I told everybody else. Just like you did. Puck gave Uncle Mark a look when Uncle Mark asked, as if I had already ever, as if I had ever heard my father's story. Of course, I said. He was killed at a payphone. Rory watched over Pop's face, opened his mouth to speak, but changed his mind, then changed his mind again. That's not the story we talking about. What you know is how I was killed, Pop explained. But you don't know. You just don't know. When Mark was shot, I was shattered, shifted, never the same again, like shards of my own heart, shivering me um, on the inside, just like your mama told you. You and Sean were little and I couldn't just come home and be a daddy and a husband when I couldn't be a brother no more. Not after what happened and how it happened. But I didn't cry, didn't snitch. Knew exactly who killed Mark. Knew I could get him. The rules. Taught to me by Mark. Taught to him by by our pop. That night I walked 2 blocks to where Mark used to move, where dirt was done. And waited until finally a dude came from the building, stepped to his corner, Mark's corner, slapped a pack in a customer's clutch. Money was exchanged, and I knew that was my guy, the guy that shot my brother dead in the street. I made my move, hood over my head, gun from my waist, and by the time he saw me, I was already squeezing pop, pop, pop. By the third, he was down, but I gave him one more just because I was angry. So angry, like something had gotten into me. That something that my pop said had gotten into him must be what my mom meant by the night time. Pop said he took off running so fast his sneakers barely touched concrete. said he took the long way, turned pistol into proof, turned bang bang into hush hush. When I got home, I took a hot shower, hot enough to burn the skin off my body. He said, couldn't kiss your mother, couldn't kiss you boys goodnight. Just lay naked on the scummy bathtub, the cold porcelain keeping me from sleep, from nightmares. But you did know you had to do, but you did know what you had to do, I said after listening to my father admit what I had already known. The rules are the rules. Uncle Mark and my father looked at me with hollow eyes, dancing somewhere between guilt and grief, which I couldn't make sense of until my father admitted that he had killed the wrong guy. You ain't killed G? I asked, confused. No, I didn't, Pop confirmed, his voice crumbling. But G didn't kill Mark. G was just some young kid trying to be tough, trying to make a few friends, a few bucks, a flunky for the guy who killed Mark, he explained. Then why? Then why you kill him? I asked. I didn't know he wasn't the right guy. Pop said, a tremble in his throat. I was sure that was Mark's killer. Had to be. I leaned against the wall next to Danny, thinking, staring at my father, who wasn't my father at all. At least not like I had imagined him. A man who moved with precision, patience, purpose, not no willy-nilly bucking off at random. Spent my whole damn life missing a misser. It disappointed me. And he stood on the other side of the elevator, staring back at me, wasn't sure what he was thinking. Maybe that was exactly how he had imagined. Maybe that disappointed him. Random thought number 4. There was this thing I used to see kids at the playground do with their dads. They'd stand on their father's feet. The dads holding the kids by the arms, walking stiff-legged like zombies. The kids had to trust the fathers to guide them, because the fathers could see what was coming. But the kids, holding tight to their dads, moved blindly backward. Then Pop made the first move. I stepped forward, made the next, then he took another. We met in the middle again, dove into each other, this time the hug. A mix of I miss you and who are you, and I'm confused and I'm cracking and I don't know what the hell to do or where the hell to go. My father's hand gripped my back as I did my best to bury myself in his armpit, to get lost in the new, and strangely familiar feeling of fatherhood. And that's when it happened. He pulled the gun from my waistband and put it on my head. I freaked out. What you doing? I shrilled in shock. What the hell you doing? Eye to eye, a tear streaming down his face. Just one, so it ain't really count. Chest sticking like a weight crushing me. Biscuit tight against my temple. He cocked it, sounded like a door closing. I called out for help but couldn't see no one. Not Uncle Mark, nor Danny, nor Buck, or hear them, or even smell the dank of tobacco turning to tar. Like it was suddenly just the two of us, me and my dad, both of us apparently losing our minds. Pop stood over me, the gun pressed against the side of my face. Was the first time I had ever had one to my head. First time I had been that close to death to the end. And at the hand of pop, pop, pop. You would think I would be thinking about whether or not he could actually do it since it wasn't real. But the hugs were real and the gun was real. Weren't no ghost bullets in that clip. Those were real bullets, 15 total, one for every year of my life. My stomach was aching, the quaking world in the bottom of it, and it wasn't long before I could feel myself splitting apart. A warm sensation ran through the lower half of my body, seeping down my leg into my sneakers. Cigarette smoke cut once again, this time by the smell of my own piss. Then Pop uncooked the gun, wrapped his arms around me again, squeezed tight like I was some rag doll, stuffed the gun back into my waistband. I screamed, pushed him away, yelled until my throat stripped, until my words became sizzle. Weak, wet, worried about looking like a punk ass kid. And my father leaned against the wall, staring chin up, cocky, quiet, while I exploded. And like old times, Uncle Mark came to his side like a brother, pulled the extra cig, the one tucked behind his ear, handed it to my father, chest heaving, eyes on me. He threw the cig in his mouth. Buck took his cue. I backed into a corner, wished this stupid elevator would get to L, for this whole thing to hurry up and be done. Buck struck a match, and the elevator came to a stop. A stranger, chubby, light skin, almost white, the type that turns red, that burns dirty brown hair curled up on his head, got in the elevator like a normal guy. Didn't acknowledge nobody, no dead body, no live body, no smoke. Normal. So I figured he was real, which made me real embarrassed about the pee, but made me real happy I wasn't all the way gone. The thick, pale dude stood staring at his blurred reflection in the metal door when Buck started trying to get his attention. Yo, Buck said. Psst. The guy didn't budge. Yo, dude, Buck called, reaching for his shoulder. The man turned around. I know you. Buck flashed his big, choppy grin. Your name. Frick, right? Only the people who know me know me. The guy said, reluctantly reaching for Buck's hand. Remember me? Buck said like a distant relative at the reunion. Buck, he said, showing the back of his t-shirt again. Oh shit, Buck. Head cocked. Buck, arms wide. What's good, man? Nothing is good at all. This is Damie, Mark, Mikey, and you remember Sean. This is his little brother, Will. Before Frick could answer, I asked Buck how he knew him, what his connection was to me, what he was doing in this spooky ass elevator. How do I know him? Buck scoffed, shaking his head. This is the man who murdered me. Wait, hold up, hold the hell on. On my brother, on Sean's name, you serious? Wait, what? What? You heard me right. See, Frick, here Buck passed. Why they call you that anyway? He asked, sidetracked. It's really Frank, twin sister Francis. Frick and Freck came from my uncle. Stupid shit old men call you stick in the head. Frick explained. Who you tellin'? Matter of fact, because of you. Buck paused again, turned back to me. Because of him, Will. The only reason people around here know my government name is from reading it on my darn tombstone. Buck's real name was James. I've only heard it one time. Buck better than James. Buck short for young Buck. Nickname given by stepfather as a joke because Buck couldn't grow no facial hair. Smooth baby face, nothing tough about it. Buck was two-sided. Two dads, Step and Real. Step raised him, a preacher, a real preacher, not scared of no one, praying for anyone, helping everyone. Real run through him. A bank robber would steal air from the world if he could get his hands on it. People always said he was taught to do good, but doing had was bad, was in his blood. And there's that nighttime Mom always be talking about. It'll snatch your teaching from you. Put a gun in your hand, a grumble in your gut, and some sharp in your teeth.